What's going on, everybody? For those of you that don't know, I spent like a good 4 months of my life this year attempting to thru hike the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail. I hiked well over 2,000 miles, and before I left, I made a video with a breakdown of every single piece of gear that I was taking on the hike. Now that the hike is over, I thought it would be useful to go through my lighter pack spreadsheet, which contains all the gear. It breaks down the weight, and I thought it would be useful to just go through every single item in this spreadsheet, every single item that I carried on the PCT, and do a quick breakdown of how I liked that piece of gear, and then rate it 1 through 5, 1 being the biggest piece of shit ever, and 5 being just out of this freaking world. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, dude, and let's jump into it. I'll have a link to this lighter pack spreadsheet in the description so you guys can go check it out for yourself. And then on this page, I also have a link to each piece of gear as well. Starting with the first category here, the big 3 plus the sleeping pad, which I don't know why, I should have just written big 4. I don't know why I went with big. I made the spreadsheet a while ago, okay? I made it before the PCT, obviously. Anyways, we're gonna start with my top quilt, which weighs about 21.74 ounces, as you can see there. This was the Econ Burrow from Hammock Gear. I started the PCT with an old one that I had back when I did the AT, and then when I got to Hiker Town, which is a good ways through the desert, I ended up buying a new one. Now mine was a 30 degree. I got the wide version and I got the sewn foot box. I absolutely loved this quilt. It's so warm, it's so comfortable. The price has gone up, unfortunately, as has the price of everything these days, but I still think that for 265 bucks, this is a pretty damn good deal, and I would highly recommend it. This piece of gear gets a 4 out of 5. The only thing that I would change about this is I just wish it was slightly lighter. The weight's still pretty good, but there are some quilts out there, I believe, that are similar specs in terms of the warmth and stuff that are just a little bit lighter. But if that was the case, it would also probably be more expensive. So I don't know, 4 out of 5, that's pretty damn good. The next piece of gear was the tent that I started with, the Gossamer Gear, the one weighing in at 17.74 ounces. And guys, you kind of know how I feel about this tent already. This one definitely left some things to be desired. I did end up switching to the Z-Pax Flex Solo, which they sent to me a little bit north of the Sierras. I've been totally procrastinating the comparison video between this tent and the Gossamer Gear tent, but I am going to do that at some point, and so I'm just going to save my comments for that video. We'll get there, I promise. The Gossamer Gear tent is going to get a 1 out of 5, and the Z-Pax tent is going to get a 4 out of 5. The only reason I'm not going to make it a 5 out of 5 is because the zipper tore shortly after I got it. The next piece of gear is just the tent stakes for the Gossamer Gear tent. The Z-Pax tent does not come with tent stakes, so I basically just ended up keeping the stakes that came with the Gossamer Gear tent even after I switched. Tent stakes, 5 out of 5. They're just tent stakes. And then my sleeping pad here, this is the Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite, weighing in at 11.75 ounces. Now this version on the screen right here is a little bit different than the version I carried because the one I have is an old one. I've talked about this before, but it's lasted me since 2020, which is crazy. It lasted the entire PCT, but my hiking partner Flossie had some issues with this newer version, I think with the valve there. I thought it was a really comfortable pad. I think the warmth to weight ratio is really good on this pad. Again, I haven't used this exact version, but overall, until I try this new version and come up with a reason to not like it, 5 out of 5. I can't, I don't know. Next, we're gonna go to my pack, which is the ULA CDT. You guys know that I love this pack, weighing in at 25.43 ounces. Now this version on the screen right here is a little bit different than mine because I bought mine in 2020 and they've changed it up a little bit since then. I love this backpack. You guys know I used a ULA CDT on my Appalachian Trail thru hike in 2018. I used it on my long trail thru hike in 2016. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It would be a 5 out of 5, but the sternum strap broke in the middle of the hike, as you guys might recall. And the same thing happened to Flossie as well, who was also using the same pack. To be fair, we put a lot of miles on the packs before they broke, but you know, it broke. I gotta dock them just a little bit, but overall, great pack. Check out the link in the description and go pick one up. Next, we have the pack pocket for the ULA CDT, weighing in at 1.59 ounces. This is pretty much just a shoulder strap pocket. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was so convenient. I kept my phone right there, kept some other goodies like my sunscreen and my hand sanitizer in the actual like zippered part right here, so it was nice and accessible. 5 out of 5 on the pack pocket. And the last thing for the big 3 plus sleeping pad, which is not supposed to be part of the big 3, I don't know why I have it in here, but we're just gonna roll with it. That would be the Polycro footprint. I wanted a footprint with my Gossamer gear tent. I almost went Tyvek, but I decided to go Polycro because it's lighter. And as you guys know, I talked about in a previous video, it didn't do the trick. It got torn up really quickly. It'd be fine for like a weekend hike or like a couple day hike, but for a through hike like this, would not recommend the Polycro. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5 because that shit sucked. We're gonna get into the food and water category next, but first I need to tell you about this video's sponsor, Drink Element. When you guys are hiking, you're gonna be sweating, you're gonna be getting thirsty, and if you don't replace the electrolytes that you're sweating out, you're not gonna feel good. Drink Element is hands down the best electrolyte drink mix in the game, dude. Especially this flavor right here, actually. Citrus salt, that's my favorite flavor. It says it right here, tasty electrolyte drink mix, and I'm telling you, this stuff tastes amazing. And right now, I want you guys to go to the top of the description of this video, click the link there, and when you do that and you place an order, you're gonna get a sample pack of 8 different flavors included with your order for free. And I know some of you guys have gotten the sample pack in the past, and I just wanna say, if you have done that, guess what? You can now get it again if you place an order. The limit per customer is gone, so you should go do it. These are all the flavors you're gonna get in the sample pack right here. Actually, like I said, citrus salt is my favorite, but check out these other crazy flavors they have. Chocolate salt, mango chili, the unflavored one, lemon habanero. No other electrolyte drink mix company is making crazy awesome flavors like this. Drink Element really thinks outside of the box, and I really appreciate that about them. And I also appreciate the fact that they don't include any sugar in their drink mixes. They don't include any BS ingredients. It's just the electrolytes that you need. It's super healthy, and it's gonna help you stay hydrated. So go to drinkelement.com/KyleHatesHiking. That's drinklmnt.com/KyleHatesHiking. Go place an order. You're gonna get that free sample pack. Drink Element, thank you for continuing to support my content. Getting back into the spreadsheet here, the first thing under the food and water category is my filter, the Sawyer Squeeze. You guys know this filter. I really love how you can just screw it right onto the bottle. It makes it nice and convenient. It's super slick, really lightweight. Every hiker uses this basically. You guys know about this filter. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 only because the flow rate slows down sometimes, and that's kind of annoying, but that's just par for the course, you know? Next we have my stove, another piece of gear that's been mentioned plenty of times on the channel. That doesn't even weigh an ounce. That's so crazy. This is the classic BRS Amazon stove. I ended up accidentally stepping on it one time when I got out of my tent at night to go pee, and I kind of bent the thing, so I had to go through another one, but that's not the fault of the stove. I'm gonna rate this one 5 out of 5. I love this stove so much. Next, we have the piece of gear that I've probably had for the longest amount of time, my cook pot, the MSR Titan kettle, 4.3 ounces. This thing is 0.85 liters of like capacity, I guess. It's getting pretty nasty. I should probably get a new one at some point, but I can't justify it yet. This one gets a 4 out of 5 just because it's getting so gross now. It should probably be 5 out of 5 actually. We'll go 5 out of 5. How about my spork? This is gonna be another 5 out of 5. Doesn't even weigh, barely weighs half an ounce, dude. The Snow Peak titanium spork. I have the purple one. This spork is awesome. 5 out of 5. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5 simply because the handle on it is kind of short. So when you're eating the backpacker meals, like the dehydrated stuff, sometimes you gotta kind of dig your hand down in there and it gets a little dirty. It's a great spork still. I love the spork. Water bottles, we just got the old classic smart water bottles. And then my water bladder I used, which is the Platypus, 1.27 ounces. Honestly, guys, I was a little bit nervous about this piece of gear before the PCT because I had never used it before. I thought it might puncture pretty easily, but honestly, it worked great. This one gets a 5 out of 5. It's super lightweight. It held the 2 liters capacity, no problem. And I was pretty rough with this thing, honestly. I would like cinch it down in my pack. There was probably like my tent stakes and other stuff like poking it. I would highly recommend this. Go hit that link in the description. My food bag, I used the Hilltop Packs food bag I've had forever, 2.12 ounces. This is like slightly different because mine has the custom print on it. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5. It's lightweight, which is great, and it holds a lot of capacity, which is great. But sometimes when I like would roll it down, it would have a tendency to become like unrolled, which I didn't care for. Probably other food bags have this problem too, and then we're gonna get into the clothing. This is where the fun starts. First off, my sun hoodie that I used was the REI Sahara Shade sun hoodie. Honestly, I was very nervous about this piece of gear going into the hike because I'd never really hiked extensively in a sun hoodie before. I was worried that it was gonna be too hot for me, but I gotta say, This thing was great. It's got a lot of sun protection. Where is it? UPF 50 plus right there. And so I never got sunburnt in it, but it was also, I feel like, pretty breathable, like about as breathable as you're gonna get for a sun hoodie. So I really enjoyed that. The only downside to this sun hoodie, and this might've just been because of the specific color that I used, which was like this one right here. These lighter colors would just tend to get really nasty because I sweat a lot and I'm just a dirty boy. And you guys definitely noticed that and commented it plenty on the videos, but that's all right. You're through hiking, you're gonna get dirty. 5 out of 5 on the sun hoodie. Loved it. My running shorts. I talked about these recently in a video. Got the pockets, got the perfect amount of thigh showing. They're lightweight, they have the liner. 5 out of 5 on the running shorts. The darn tough socks, dude. I've been using these things forever. You know, I'm from Vermont. I gotta rep the darn tough socks. Went through a few different pairs. The guaranteed for life, like the warranty thing, is amazing. There was a ton of outfitters on the PCT that would exchange your socks for free once they got holes in them. It's awesome. 10 out of 10. Wait a minute. 5 out of 5. Go darn tough. My hat is 1.76 ounces and it's the one I'm wearing right now. They don't make it anymore, unfortunately. I will just say though, I recently got back from another short through hike that you guys are gonna be finding out about very soon, and something ate my hat, dude. I left it in a shelter. It was a rat actually. Tore up my hat. Sucks. This hat is now known as the rat hat, but it gets a 5 out of 5. My down jacket, which they also don't make anymore, I'm pretty sure, the Arc'teryx Cerium. It wasn't as warm as I wanted it to be, honestly. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. My tights, the Patagonia Capeline midweight bottoms, 5.86 ounces, pretty lightweight, super comfortable. My bulge looks a lot smaller than that, unfortunately. These were pretty damn good. I've had these forever, honestly. They're still going strong. I'm gonna give them a 4 out of 5. And then my base layer for my upper body is also the Patagonia Capeline. That's gonna be a 6.07 ounce weight. Ooh, look at this guy. I'm gonna give this also a 4 out of 5. Did the trick, kept me warm. Doesn't smell that bad. Neither the top or the bottom base layer smell that bad when they get really nasty, which is nice. And they're super comfortable. My rain jacket, the Frog Togs, coming in at 5.68 ounces. I never had to hike in the rain with these, but I did use it as like a butt pad sometimes. And of course I would just wear it for extra warmth sometimes. It got torn up a little bit, but they're so cheap. Frog Togs get the 5 out of 5. Shoes, I wore the Ultra Olympus 4s, which they don't make anymore. So I've got the 5s pulled up here. These are gonna get a 2. I'm gonna go 2 out of 5. I almost did 1 out of 5, but I'm gonna do 2 out of 5 because they are very comfortable. I really like the cushion, but I don't like the insole. They're expensive, and for an expensive shoe like this, you should be getting a better insole, and they just don't last very long. I went through, I think, 6 pairs of these shoes, something like that. Now we're gonna get into the electronics section. My power bank, the Nitecore NB10000. I love this power bank. I never ran out of battery with it. I could usually get at least 2 charges of my phone out of it, and it's so lightweight, only 5.3 ounces. I would highly recommend this. This seems like the go-to for like UL power banks. 5 out of 5. My headlamp. You guys know I love this headlamp. Only 1.9 ounces for the Nitecore NU25 headlamp. 5 out of 5, obviously. I've talked about this in lots of previous videos. It's the best headlamp out there. You guys need to buy this headlamp, or maybe check out the new version. So my wall plug for when I was charging my stuff. This might seem insignificant because it's just a wall plug, but honestly, I want to talk about this for a second. You guys should hit the link in the description and go buy this wall plug. It only weighs just over an ounce, so I carried 2 of these, so you know, just over 2 ounces for my wall plugs, and they charge so freaking fast. This is a USB-C charger. I wish I had it with me, honestly, to show you, because it's tiny. This has got to be the best wall plug for backpacking. I don't know, maybe there's something better out there. Leave it in the comments if you have it, but 5 out of 5 on the wall plugs. A lot of 5 out of 5s, damn. I will talk about my cell phone real quick. I have the Google Pixel 5a. Where the hell is it? This is the phone right here. Now the phone is a little bit tricky to talk about because you don't just buy a phone specifically for backpacking. The battery life was okay when I first got it, but it's dying like every other phone. And then the GPS was a little spotty on it sometimes. And so I don't know, I'll give this a 3 out of 5. And then we're gonna get into the miscellaneous section. So we got a bunch of random stuff here. We're gonna start with my pillow. I ended up picking up this Sea to Summit Arrow's ultralight pillow when I was in Wrightwood, California, because that was the only pillow I could find at the tiny little store there when my other one popped. 2.1 ounces. I loved this pillow, honestly. Super lightweight, super comfortable. Got a nifty little valve system. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. My pack liner, the old Nylofoam pack liner, weighs less than an ounce. Again, I never got rained on the PCT, so it's hard to judge how it would have held up in rain. It never got any holes in it that I'm aware of, and so I'm gonna say this was pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. My knife, which is just a cheapo Amazon wallet knife, and they actually don't make the one that I carried anymore. This was the closest thing I could find to it. It essentially just folds up like a credit card. The only time I really ever used it was to cut my sternum strap when I had to fix that, and then also for like cutting avocados and various vegetables that I was packing out. Not the sharpest in the world, so I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna skip over some of this random small stuff here, and I'm gonna skip down to the trekking poles. You guys know about the trekking poles. I use the Cascade Mountain Tech, 16.51 ounces. These were all right. Again, I've covered this recently. I'm gonna give them a 3 out of 5. If you're just gonna be weekend backpacking or doing like a shorter through hike where you're not anticipating on going through multiple pairs, I would recommend these, honestly. They're quite affordable and they do a good job. However, if you're through hiking, the tips wear out, they're hard to replace. I don't know. My trowel, dude, I was digging cat holes left and right out there. This is actually the first time I ever used a trowel, because when I was hiking on the East Coast, I would just use a rock or a stick or whatever. But I wanted a trowel for out west because I wasn't sure what the soil was gonna be like out there. And I'm glad I had it. Only 0.6 ounces for the old Combat Wipes, dude, which is the sickest name. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. It did the trick. The last thing I have in the lighter pack is my camera stuff. I might save that for a separate video. If you guys wanna see a video where I go over my camera setup for the PCT and all my other hikes, how I vlogged it and all that stuff, let me know in the comments, and be sure you guys hit the subscribe button so we can get this channel to 50,000 subscribers. Once again, there's a link to this lighter pack spreadsheet in the description. There's also individual links to all the gear in the description. Go check it out, and thank you guys for watching.